We are back with another video. How's it going, everyone?
Yeah, I'm doing good. You're doing good. We had a nice long walk today.
NWSL season is just around the corner.
Yeah.
Day away.
Yeah. A lot of exciting things. But to be honest, when I woke up this morning, I had no idea we were going to do this story. Or this video, rather, because this story is pretty wild. Out of all the stories we've talked about throughout the years, this is actually one of the ones that's kind of most surprising. I don't know if that's correct, but kind of most surprising out of a lot of things we've talked about, because it kind of came out of left field in a way.
It's a bit shocking. It's a bit controversial.
Yeah, exactly. And as you see by the title, we're going to talk about Emma Hayes. We're going to talk about Emma Hayes because she made some kind of surprising and some might say disturbing comments.
She's dogging a lot of people here.
Yeah, she is dogging a lot of people, and as we're going to find out, some of her active players are not very happy with her because we got the receipts. Yeah, so where this started from. Okay, we're going to start from kind of where it started from, and then we're going to kind of get to where it has gone. So this Friday is a huge game. Huge. The Arsenal is playing Chelsea, and this is a huge game. This is a make it or break it game, a game for Arsenal, but also Chelsea for the WSL title. But Chelsea really do need to win this game. This Friday, it's going to be a Friday night game, Friday Night Lights.
Last Friday night. No, this Friday night. There you go.
And so it's going to be a huge game. And with that, there's a bunch of, the managers do a lot of press and media. And of course, you're going to have press conferences before the big game. So Emma Hayes was being interviewed by a reporter. And something that came up was a scandal that kind of broke out about a player-manager relationship from Leicester, from the club Leicester.
Not Leicester?
Not Leicester. We always get that wrong. I think it's Leicester. The coach is being investigated. The coach, Willie Kirk, is being investigated by the club following an allegation of a player-coach relationship. And that's made big headlines over in the UK, that obviously that's not, appropriate in any way, a player-coach. I think maybe another team had a player-coach allegation, but that's the big story, is the Leicester one. And so Emma Hayes was asked about this scandal, and she answered it. I don't know if I'm going to play the video or we're just going to read from the article. We might do both, but I'm actually going to have Sara read this, so if you see the video too. But she was asked about this scandal and she answered the questions. Then she added some more opinions that shocked people because it kind of came out of left field in a way. So I'm going to read this and then we're going to talk about it, and I might play the video as well, but we're going to read it from right now.
We have to have safeguarding, make sure that it's accessible for each and every club to protect players, she said. Player-coach relationships, they're inappropriate. Player-to-player relationships are inappropriate, Hayes said. But we have to look at it in the context of where the game has come from and say, look, we're in a professional era now where the expectations in place for players and coaches is such that all of our focus and attention has got to be on having the top standards.
You can say player.
Player-to-player relationships can be hard to navigate for a coach, she said. One player's in the team, one's not in the team, she said, in listing some of the situations that can arise. One might be in the year of their contract, one might not be. We all know, those of us who have been in the women's game for a long period of time, those things have been happening in dressing rooms. Longer term, it would be ideal where you don't have to deal with that. She added, we're dealing with human beings. We do talk about it internally. Hayes says it's important to consider the historical context.
Her first statement was, player-coach relationships are inappropriate. Check. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. There's a power dynamic. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. Okay. Then she goes on to say, her next statement after player-coach relationships are inappropriate, her next statement was, player-to-player relationships are inappropriate. She goes on to kind of explain what she means and the context of what she means when she says that. But what she says right there is clear as day. Even with the context she kind of gives, saying that at this moment in time, her being an active coach, we're going to get into it, but an active coach of couples on her team right now, I don't think that's, I can't imagine the locker room tomorrow when they go play the big game at Arsenal with, certain players, I'm guessing the majority of players not really happy with that statement because
is completely wild, and it's going to be awkward having to face the players after that.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know. The first thing I don't understand is she was asked about the player-coach relationship. Okay, she voluntarily gave this extra information. I don't think player relationships are appropriate. Why in the world would she even bring that up when she wasn't even asked about that?
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Not sure what she was thinking, but that's got to upset a lot of people.
Yeah, because the culture of WOSO is basically, we've gotten to a place where,
I was going to say, the culture of WOSO is gay.
Yeah. We have gotten to a place where I believe, and I think a lot of people believe, hey, there may have been that question at some point, but what we're seeing is that, they're professionals. Professional athletes and professional people, they know business is business, pleasure is pleasure, business pleasure. You know what I mean? They know how serious these contracts are. And we're also gonna focus on player-to-player relationships on the same team. She may have meant any player on any team but we're gonna focus on the player-to-player relationships on the team because she has players on her team that are in a relationship. So I did see people talking about, just people in the league. So we'll stick to that, even though she might have meant everybody. I don't think she did, but she might have. She also says they talk about it internally sometimes. So I don't know. I don't know how this is going to help the morale of her team. And I just think it's kind of wild for her to say that.
Yeah, especially when she's going to be coming to America, that's wild.
Yeah. And, my thought is maybe she's going to go into the locker room tomorrow, or maybe she understands that there has been kind of outrage and she might try to have an honest conversation. Hey, I didn't mean to offend anyone. I know I may have, but please let me, somehow she might try to have a heart to heart with the players because that's not going to boost your morale of the club. And also, she's also leaving Chelsea, so maybe the Chelsea players are just like, whatever. And she's like, whatever. But she's going to she's going to the U.S. Women's National Team, which, as we know, they are famous for having relationships. And I don't mean famous like they're the first ones, because a lot of international clubs had relationships. But, Krashlyn was one of the very first high-profile teammates to get married.
Rest in peace, that relationship now.
And it didn't work out, but you know what I'm saying. And also, it kind of got me thinking maybe that's one of the reasons why Tobin and Christen really didn't want to make it a thing, because of this. You know what I mean? Because
yeah, good point.
Yeah, because they didn't want anything to interfere with them playing soccer. They know that if people knew that they're in a relationship, and I always in my heart understood that you just get kind of have to deal with outside things when they just want to deal with soccer. And also, Twitter was going wild. Twitter and TikTok. I got like 6-7 TikToks about it, that people were just kind of surprised that she said things. And I'll read a couple tweets.
I respect Emma Hayes a lot for what she's done for women's football and her unfaltering dedication towards it. However, her comments about player-player relationships today was unsavory and unnecessary. Love is a wonderful, magical thing, and two players loving each other should be celebrated. The fact that Emma Hayes only sees it as a threat to her chances of winning a trophy and therefore wants it stamped out speaks volumes about how she views other people.
So that comment's a little more harsh because, as we know, when she got hired at the U.S. Women's National Team, one of the main things people said about her is she's all business. She will do anything to win, and winning is most important. A lot of people there is pages and pages and hundreds and thousands of tweets about this on Twitter specifically, about how people are it's just not going to help morale. That's kind of, A, it's not nice, but B, it's not going to help morale, especially right before the big Arsenal game, which is kind of crazy. Then, one aspect of it is kind of what we talked about a couple minutes ago. She actively has players on her team that are in an active relationship, an active out relationship. And one of those players is Jess Carter. She is dating Ann-Katrin Berger. We haven't talked about them much, but they were at the World Cup together. They don't play for the same country, but they were at the World Cup. They play for Chelsea together. We kind of talked about their love story when we talked about it over the summer. They're both on Chelsea. And if I were one of those players and I heard what Emma said today, that would really bother me, I think.
It would really piss me off. Let's be honest.
And hurt my feelings. I'd be like, oh, she doesn't actually think we should be on the same team. It pissed me off, hurt my feelings.
I'd lose the game on purpose for you, Emma.
Oh. And then
Emma Hayes said player-player relationships are problematic, and Carter's been liking a whole bunch of comments on Twitter hating on Hayes. Ooh.
Yeah, Jess Carter, and I actually saw Bethany England also, who played for Emma Hayes for a long time, liked a couple kind of being critical of the statements Emma Hayes made. She liked, comments just, I'll put them on the screen. So she liked, and this is actually one of the comments that made me also think, this actually doesn't make sense what Emma's saying, because I'm going to read this comment that Jess liked, because it really proved the point that, what is Emma even saying?
Anyone aligning coach-player relationships with player-player relationships is fundamentally misunderstanding the power imbalances at play.
They go anyway. And then the same person, I think this was a continuation of their tweet.
Anyway, if I seriously thought player-player relationships were inappropriate, I probably wouldn't have signed that well-known girlfriend of my club captain for a world record fee.
So yeah, and what they're talking about is Magda Eriksson played in Chelsea for many years. Then, as we remember, Pernilla Harder, she was coming from Wolfsburg. She ended up signing with Chelsea. And as remember, it was the world record fee at that point. And they were in an open out relationship. Everyone knew, their love story as well. And so if Emma Hayes thought it was inappropriate, why would she take the captain of her team and say, yeah, let's bring over your girlfriend, your partner, but I actually have a problem with it. When I'm sure Emma could have said, no, we're not going to bring over that person because it's inappropriate. How to make that make sense?
Explain yourself, Emma.
It kind of doesn't make sense in that respect either. Specifically, then we'll kind of end with this a little bit. Apparently, people are also confused why Emma would bring this up because anytime you say something that's going to ruffle feathers, how they say your skeletons are going to come out of your closet. So one of the tweets that Jess Carter liked, but has since unliked it, was kind of tea, and she liked this. And this was a tweet by somebody.
Should have kept her mouth shut because now her alleged affair with a player is going mainstream. What? Yeah. My mouth is wide open. You're gonna have to explain this one to me, Sarah.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of what's going on in that situation either, but it's only coming out because Emma Hayes made these comments. Apparently, there's rumors that Emma had a player-coach relationship with a player at a time, and that she had an inappropriate relationship with one of her players at one time. And for the most part, it's been kind of one of those stories that people maybe have heard about, but maybe kind of been swept under the rug. But now that Emma has been talking, Emma made a statement like that, it's kind of like, whoa, why are you making such wild statements when you yourself have, how they say, skeletons in the closet?
Oh dear, this is getting wild.
It's weird. That situation's not good too. I don't really know much about that situation. I've been kind of looking into it on Twitter and whatnot. And so, that's the story, But, some people are on the side of Emma. They might think that the way Emma has expressed it seemed a little hypocrisy in regards to her own team. She had issues. She had some type of something herself. But there are people on her side that says, I get what she's saying. And she kind of explained it in her context too. When you have a player-player relationship where one contract is long and one contract is short, that it makes it difficult for clubs to, if they know they're getting a package deal, to figure out their contracts, things like that. So apparently that's why a lot of people think Magda and Pernille left together, that somehow their contracts weren't going to align together. One of them was going to get a shorter contract. I forget exactly which one it was, but Emma's saying we might still have Magda and Pernille if they weren't dating and they weren't a package deal.
Sounds like she's a little salty about it.
Yeah. I just kind of thought of that in my head. Also, I'm going to read this comment because I saw people on social media who did understand what Emma said. And I just like to give the other side too.
I'm going to say it. Emma Hayes was right about the player relationship stuff. It's a multi-million-pound business now. Those companies don't like workplace relationships. High-performance sports environments also don't take kindly to interpersonal spats.
Yeah, so I did see that kind of that side as well, that people said, makes sense. Putting somebody in a relationship, a romantic relationship on the same team has extra problems that if you weren't in a romantic relationship, it wouldn't have. And these are important contracts. Also, I thought about over the last summer at the World Cup with the Ruesha Caitlin thing. You know,
I was thinking that too.
You know, Katie and Ruesha are teammates on Ireland. Katie and Caitlin are teammates on Arsenal. And it turned into this big global, and some may say not serious look at women's sports. You know, obviously Sara and I liked it, but if you're trying to find something to kind of talk down about, someone who wants to find something, say, oh, they can't even get along can't even keep it professional on the pitch. I thought about that aspect too, that was very dramatic. So I could see that point of view as well. So I did say that. And also, I remember Krashlyn talking about when they went on road games or away, when they traveled, I remember them saying that until they got married, they had separate rooms. So they didn't actually room together either. And I'm sure I'm guessing that might be a rule for a lot of clubs too. Maybe two partners can't be in the same room. Also, anytime it talked about Christen and Tobin, even though they weren't an official out couple to the public, I don't think they roomed together either from what I can remember. They had different roommates. Yeah, obviously Jess Carter not happy. She's upset. And
who wouldn't be?
Yeah. Even if you understand what Emma says, because I can see what Emma's saying, and I see what Emma's saying to a point, but it is hurtful coming to when your players feel personally attacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, Emma's going to the United States Women's National Team, one of the most progressive teams in the world. And it's like, I don't want to go backwards. I want to be progressive. So, some might disagree with that opinion, to be honest. I don't know who. I think the progressive nature of the U.S. Women's National Team has helped the world. So what does everyone think about that story? Because it's major. And I guess I get both. I guess I get what Emma's saying. But to say that, I don't know. So what does everyone think? Also, going back to Emma, tomorrow at the big game, Beth scored a goal. Katie McCabe scored a goal. People on an active relationship on the team on the Arsenal scored a goal. I don't think Viv is healthy to play tomorrow. If they scored a banger. And also, and if Emma's teammate in the locker room in the morning is just like, we obviously want to win, but they're going to kind of put the cold shoulder to Emma. Already, I'm sure they're not happy with Emma leaving. I'm sure they don't like the way Emma's leaving the club already. She's double dutying in a lot of ways. And so a lot of her maybe time is spent dealing with U.S. Women's National Team. And so it takes time away from Chelsea. So maybe they're already kind of over her and say, just go to America.
Yeah.
And also, if Emma has these skeletons in her closet, I wouldn't say anything that's kind of crazy. Because, okay, I'm going to say this. I actually wanted to say this back when we first talked about it. Also with the fans, how many LGBT fans or women's fans and specifically soccer fans, I'm just shocked Emma would say that, knowing that so many of her fans in the fan base of women's sports, A, not only are LGBT, but B, support the relationships on the team.
Yeah, less is more next time.
I don't know. I just felt like, what's the point? Especially when she was unprompted to say that.
Yeah, that's wild, Emma.
Yeah. So what does everyone think? What were your thoughts about that comment Emma made? Does it change your opinion of Emma? And also, coming to the U.S. Women's National Team, does it kind of give you a pause to be like, oh, it's going to be no fun? You know how we talked about Lindsay Horan's going to get what she wants. She wants serious. Or the opposite side. I did see a lot of positive comments on Emma's favor, saying, hey, they understood what she meant. She didn't say anything. And I saw some people thinking it was homophobic. I don't think it was homophobic or anything. I did see that kind of discourse. I don't think that. But I did see people understanding, hey, I know what she meant. And I kind of know what she meant too. Yeah. I'm not trying to play both sides, but I do understand what she meant.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. Questions, comments down below. Like I said, this video will probably come out after the Chelsea-Arsenal game tomorrow. I'm rooting for Arsenal, and also Chelsea has a busy schedule. In that article where I was kind of reading, they have like 8 games this month between WSL and Champions League and everything. So they're on a tight schedule, and both teams are kind of beat up too. So hopefully that's a good game. And what does everyone think? Questions, comments down below. We will talk to everyone later. Yeah. Talk to everyone later. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.